Right away, Arknights Endfield makes its priorities very clear. This is a game that's obsessed with combat, in a good way. Everything you do eventually funnels back into fighting. Exploration leads to encounters, progression feeds your squad, and even the quieter systems exist to make battles more interesting later on. If you're jumping in expecting something that feels like the original Arknights, it's better to mentally reset first. Endfield isn't just a spin-off, it's a full-on genre shift. What immediately sets Endfield apart is how it handles team combat. Instead of the usual swap characters one at a time setup, all 4 operators are on the field together. Everyone is active, everyone attacks, everyone matters. You're not just switching perspectives, you're managing a team in real time, and that changes everything about how fights play out. Because of that, combat feels less like frantic button mashing and more like controlled pressure. Skills don't exist in a vacuum. Every ability pulls from shared team resources, so pressing one button always means giving something else up. Use a powerful skill now, and suddenly another operator can't respond when things go sideways. In tougher encounters, this creates constant tension. You're never fully relaxed, and that's something a lot of action RPGs struggle to maintain once the novelty wears off. Once the combat clicks, it becomes clear that Endfield is built around 3 main pillars: action combat, semi-open world exploration, and base building through factory systems. And just to be clear, none of this plays like classic Arknights. That tactical tower defense muscle memory, it won't help much here. In fights, you directly control one operator while the other 3 provide on-field support. They don't just stand around either, they actively attack and contribute. Each character has 4 core tools: normal attacks, battle skills, combo skills, and ultimates. Normal attacks are straightforward. Battle skills cost SP and can be used whenever resources allow. Ultimates charge over time and bring the big moments: damage spikes, crowd control, or clutch support. Then there are combo skills, which are where things get spicy and occasionally overwhelming. These require specific conditions to trigger, and every character plays by different rules. Some combos activate naturally as you fight, while others require precise setups involving reactions or timing. At first, keeping track of all this can feel like spinning plates, especially once your roster grows. But that complexity is intentional. Endfield wants you thinking about synergy, not just stacking strong characters and hoping for the best. And yes, throwing together a team based purely on vibes will work early on. But later fights don't care how cool your squad looks. They care how well your characters interact. When a team clicks, combat feels smooth, almost elegant. When it doesn't, things fall apart fast. Speaking of enemies, this is where the stagger system comes in. Instead of enemies just soaking damage until they drop, they have stagger bars and weak points that can be broken to open them up. This adds structure to fights. You're encouraged to weaken first, then go all in. When this system works well, combat feels deliberate instead of chaotic, and victory feels earned rather than inevitable. Movement also gets some love. Dodging now allows for 2 quick evasions with a short recovery window. That small change makes combat feel far more fluid, especially against aggressive enemies. That said, things can get visually messy. With abilities flying everywhere, it's not always clear what's an enemy attack and what's friendly fire. The system works, but clearer visual language would go a long way. Even with that clutter, combat generally feels good. Hits have weight, animations sell the impact, and abilities genuinely change how fights unfold. Using a controller makes everything feel more natural, which helps sell that sense of physicality. But combat isn't perfect. Once abilities are on cooldown, basic attacks don't offer much variety. There's limited depth in manual combos, and smaller encounters can start to blur together. It's not bad combat, it just shines brightest when the game demands more from you. Luckily, the character roster helps keep things fresh. With over 20 operators available in the demo, there's a wide range of playstyles.
classes like guards, casters, defenders, and supporters actually matter. Some focus on sustained damage, others on burst, control, healing, or resource generation. Team composition isn't optional, it's the difference between struggling and cruising. Ultimates reinforce this idea even more. They're not just damage nukes. Some stabilize the battlefield, others lock enemies down, and some create massive openings. Using one at the right moment can completely flip a fight, which adds a strategic layer that's surprisingly satisfying. Now, once you step away from combat for a bit, Endfield shows another side of itself through the AIC factory system. This isn't a small side activity, it's a core progression mechanic. You're managing production lines, automation routes, expansions, and regional integration. The demo makes this more approachable with templates and helpful tools, but it's still very much a management-heavy system. This is where opinions will split. If factory building sounds like work, this system might feel like an obligation. But if you enjoy planning and long-term optimization, it adds a steady sense of growth that complements combat nicely. Exploration helps balance things out. The demo's main region stands out visually, blending traditional architecture with industrial sci-fi elements. It feels designed, not procedural. There are puzzles, secrets, shortcuts, and plenty of reasons to wander off the main path. Tools like chest detectors and navigation aids reduce frustration, which makes exploration feel rewarding instead of tedious. That said, Endfield does stumble when it comes to pacing, especially in its story delivery. There's a lot of dialogue, a lot of cutscenes, and a lot of moments where you're watching instead of playing. Early on, it can feel like the controller exists mostly to confirm dialogue boxes. The story itself is interesting, with strong world building and dramatic hooks. The problem isn't the content, it's the delivery. Momentum slows, and the urge to get back into combat becomes very real. Whether this is a front-loaded tutorial issue or a deeper pacing problem remains to be seen, but it's one of the demo's weakest points. Visually though, Endfield rarely disappoints. Environments are detailed, character designs are strong, and the overall presentation is polished. Animations during close-up dialogue can feel stiff at times, but it's a small issue in an otherwise impressive package. So, is Arknights Endfield worth playing based on the demo? If you're looking for a combat-driven action RPG that rewards planning, synergy, and smart decision-making, there's a lot to like here. It's not a casual experience, and it's definitely not classic Arknights. But if the systems click, Endfield feels like a game with real potential rather than just another gacha experiment.